Coming to you live and direct from Tortola in the Virgin Islands, you're watching 284 Media. Across the Virgin Islands, we have established over the years a plethora of local authors, of course, speaking on a number of topics that are preserving the history, culture, and heritage of the British Virgin Islands. Today, I'm honored to be joined by the lovely Miss Janice Nibbs, who is allowing us to meet the authors in her local authors extravaganza. Now, she's not just doing this alone. She's taking a number of local authors with her. We're going to be right back after a quick commercial break.
When you're in need of air conditioning, installation, repairs, or replacement services, Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration has the professional technicians, equipment, parts, and ACs to get the job done right. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration carries top brands like Daikin, Aircon, Mitsubishi, and more. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Located in Fish Bay. Telephone 340-4114 or 343-9511. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration, providing exceptional services to the British Virgin Islands since 2015.
At VI Motors, we've got it. All your vehicles, we've got it. All your auto parts, we've got it. Everything you need, we've got it. We've got oil, it's stock. We've got batteries, it's stock. We've got tires, it's stock. Even brakes, yes sir. Yes! VI Motors, pioneering the automotive industry in the Virgin Islands since 1966 with leading brands like Toyota, Chevy, and Honda. We even do custom orders. We have all the top brands in automotive parts as well, so you know you're getting quality. Come visit us at Duff's Bottom, Tortola. Go to our website at vimotors.com or just call us at 494-2496. Remember, VI Motors, we've got it. All your vehicles, we've got it. All your auto parts, we've got it. Everything you need, we've got it. We've got it.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of it then. Next customer in line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, Sonny.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for sticking with us. As promised, today you get to meet the authors, along with, of course, the author herself, Miss Janice Nibbs, and the Meet the Local Authors Extravaganza. Miss Nibbs, welcome back to our platform. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for inviting me. Well, everyone would know me. I am Janice Nibbs Blyden. I'm writing under my maiden name of Janice Nibbs. And I have a book. This is the first in the series of books I'm doing called a Traditional Carrier Series.
Okay.
And I am promoting my book, but instead of taking me alone, I am taking other authors with me, and I have created what I call the Janice Nibbs Meet Local Authors, Janice Nibbs Book Tour, and Meet Local Authors Extravaganza.
Wonderful. Now, before we go any further, this is not the first time you're doing this, Miss Nibbs. You had a book tour before. Tell us about the previous one that was held.
Okay, I had a tour. My tour began on Virgin Garda, where I took authors to Virgin Garda. I had Arona Forbes, I had Cicely Thomas, I had Don Leonard, Janice George Harris. I had Andrea Flax. I had Bernardine Louis. And I had myself, and I had Shadow Dawson, who is
of course, a photographer.
Yes. And Shadow's book is one of my pet peeves. I think I'm pulling him along behind me, like when you're pulling teeth, and he's telling me, well, okay, by next month you will have me and my book.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I want to talk about the importance of the preservation of local history and the heritage of the Virgin Islands, because truth be told, we have a lot of stories that have yet to be told. And take, for example, in your very first series, the career series, persons who may not have been aware of what a Thatcher man is, you get to put that into perspective. So tell us about the first book in your series.
Okay, the first book in my traditional career series is I Want to Be a Thatcher Man. And it tells of the early 1900s when persons in the Virgin Islands lived in homes made of grass. And I don't think most of the modern generation can imagine what it is like to live in a home made from grass.
I sure can imagine it.
You had the walls made from grass and the roof made from grass. Sometimes it was only the roof alone was made from grass, and the walls were, you know, something else we call, it was made with plaited sticks, strips, and you cover them with limestone, and you call it a wattle and dab house. So we had those types of homes that we lived in early in the century, and I wanted to introduce children to where we came from. Because if you do not know where you came from, you cannot build on a foundation that is strong enough for you to continue and plan for the future.
Understood.
So once you understand how far we have come, then you can start to think on where you want to go next.
Most definitely. Now, one of the things I want to employ here, viewers, is that the books that you're going to be seeing featured, of course, they're featuring our local artists, but it is important that persons across the Virgin Islands, both the British Virgin Islands and U.S. Virgin Islands, understand that we have more in common than our part. We like to sometimes think that we're isolated and our issues are isolated, but our stories are not isolated. Very much, they're very much a part of each other, intertwined. So speaking particularly to my brothers and sisters over in the U.S. Virgin Islands, make sure that you get an opportunity to get not only I Want to Be a Thatcher Man, but a lot of the other books that you're going to be seeing featured today in the Janice Nibbs Meet the Local Authors Extravaganza. Now, Miss Nibbs, writing for some is not an easy process. Persons necessarily have to find the time, they have to dedicate to it. How important would you say it is for these local authors that you featured on your first tour, and many of whom are returning to be featured on this second tour? How important is it for you to look across the Virgin Islands and realize that more and more every year we're seeing a plethora of very talented local authors emerging?
That is very important, and the reason why I created this store was I find that most people write a book, they do the launch, but after the launch, what next? And I find that it is very tough to go it alone, because to promote your book alone is not easy. So if you have me and others to help you, so when I take them with me and I introduce them to others, that means to say that somebody may not want my book, but they probably would want one of theirs, because like Miss Flax there, she has a whole book of persons, 90 to 100 years, and you know, Miss Janice George Harris has the one on North Song, and Allison has the box, and
yes,
I know Dawn has more of a love story.
Yes, very creative love story.
But you know, you get introduced to different things that people can really, you know, get their teeth into. You can sit down and you can analyze and look at who are these people who are now here trying to make themselves a space in the world. Who are they?
And where did they come from?
That's true. Where did they come from? What created this type of person that is the Virgin Islander?
Understood. So I want you to speak to the up-and-coming generation, and most importantly, parents of students who are a part of our both primary and secondary schools. When you see the influx of students that are passing through our system right now, what would you say to parents on being able to instill a love for reading at a very young age?
My parents read. They loved to read. They read My father had a whole ton of Reader's Digest condensed books, and my mother was into reading magazines and anything that she could get her hand on. And what would happen is they would sit with us and sometimes, read to us. In school, they read to you stories, and you had the Nelson West Indian Reader, which was graded, and you had a time for reading. And there was so much knowledge and information in that book. You understand? Like, I remember, even at my age, I remember the life cycle of a housefly and how to plant sugar cane. And all sorts of things was in that book, and there were poems that we learned about King Francis, who was a mighty king and he loved the royal sport. I won't bother to say the whole of that because that would take too long, but that was one of the... My father loved to recite these poems, and when he recited these things, they got you excited. And when my mother sat and she discussed the books that she read, then they got you excited. I didn't understand half of why reading, but I read them. My sister was studying literature and she was reading Silas Manor. I didn't know not more no Silas Manor in class 4. Why I going to know about Silas Manor? I read Silas Manor. I understand half of it. So parents, reading to your children is important, and not because they say they don't like to read, but they will read anything on social media. They can't get through social media without reading.
I love the fact that you highlighted that. Yes.
So there is no way that you can get through life without reading. So reading is very important, and everyone has something that they like to read. Some people tell me I only read nonfiction. Some people like science fiction. Some people like detective stories, and some people like romance stories. So whatever your genre is, there is something there for you that you can find a book in that you would like to get your teeth in. And once you have read that one, there are other books by different authors. There are other books in that series that you can read that would keep you excited and reading for a long time. So don't tell me you don't like to read and you're only on social media reading what you see out there.
Well said. You couldn't have said it better. I want to thank you so much for, of course, putting into perspective your journey as an author. Thank you for introducing your very first book in your career series. And most importantly, thank you for bringing a plethora of very phenomenal, happens to be in this particular one, all women who are going to be joining us today. Not by accident, but it happens. And of course, we're honored to be learning and featuring the very 6 authors that you've established today. So viewers,
only 5.
Only 5. Okay, cool. So we'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Angie, how can I get my claims paid quick? Rent's due next week.
CG processes 99% of claims within 5 days. Remember when I was hang gliding with those goats? I caught a gust of wind and flew right into a moving car. Every appendage was in the cast, and they paid fast and fairly. That's what I get for trusting a man with a mustache and an eye patch. Now I gotta go. I'm meeting the guy who bedazzled my toes.
99% of claims are processed within 5 days. CG Insurance. Good like that.
Catch all the action from the 2023 NFL games with CCT Live on various channels, including ESPN Channel 412, ESPN2 Channel 413, Telemundo Channel 315, and Fox Channel 304. When you subscribe to any CCT Fire plan, you'll automatically bundle CCT Live. For more information, visit your nearest CCT store or give us a call at 444-4444. Choose CCT Live and enhance your game day experience.
There goes my new car. Guess I'm back on my bike.
Your bike? CG offers new car replacement. Remember my monster truck days? Well, one night I attempted a 50-foot pogo double backflip. I landed it and went to karaoke. It wasn't until afterward that my car got hit by that fisherman. He gave me some great mahi-mahi, though. Anyway, they paid fast and got me in a new car. Now call a cab. I want you to meet my alpaca guy.
New car replacement for the first year of ownership. CG Insurance. Good like that.
And welcome back, viewers. As promised, you get to meet the authors who are participating in the Janice Nibbs Meet Local Authors Extravaganza. I'm honored to be joined by the lovely Dawn Leonard alongside Miss Andrea Flax. Ladies, welcome to the platform. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Most welcome. Now, As discussed with Ms. Nibbs earlier, she is taking a team of you on this fantastic tour that gives you an opportunity to showcase your work to the general public. I want to start with you, Dawn. Tell us about your journey in becoming an author.
Well, first of all, Ron, I would like to say thanks to Ms. Nibbs for bringing us along with her. I thought it was so selfless of her to include us, and I did go with her to Virgin Gorda. That was a really good experience, and I wish we could do more things like that. So in terms of my journey, I've never considered myself an author. It's something that I toyed with a lot of years ago, and this has been a long journey because I think I had some doubts along the way. But I started it and I said I needed to finish it.
Good.
So my book, Turn of Events, it's psychological fiction, some say a love story. There are elements of that.
Interesting.
It has some base in the BVI, because I had to include the BVI, but it's fictional nonetheless. Okay. So it took me a very short time to write the book, but to finish it, it took me a longer time.
Okay, good.
And I think that's just because, you know, I doubted myself along the way. I didn't really have a process that was proven. Having gone through the process now, though, I you know, I understand better what it would actually take to write another book. So I do have a sequel that I'm working on.
Lovely.
To this. And, you know, the feedback has been really good. I launched it last November during Thanksgiving. And like I said, the feedback has been phenomenal.
I'm happy that you mentioned your launch, because in launching your book, you did something quite different in creating a space of pretty much like a movie. And persons really enjoyed it. Tell us about that, recap that launch for us and your ability to think outside the box.
Okay. So while I was writing the book, Ron, it felt like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, you know, when I launch this book, I want it dramatized. So I reached out to Janice Harris, and you know, she works in dramatization, and she taught it and so forth. And she pulled a cast together, and they did a phenomenal job. So she asked me to pull the areas in the book the chapters that I wanted highlighted. And when I sent it to her, she's like, Dawn, that's perfect.
Lovely.
And they pulled it off in such a phenomenal way. It really exceeded my expectations. So we're coming up on a year, and so I'm planning to do some other things to continue to promote my book.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations. And alongside you is not a first-time author by any stretch. I would definitely use the word veteran. Miss Andrea Flex, you have published so far 4 pieces of work. Tell us about your journey as an author.
As an author, I have been writing practically creation.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, my dad, a blessed memory, he used to call me Papel. I specialized in poetry in my school days. And then in about 2009, I began writing professionally. Mm-hmm. In 2010, I launched the first 2 books, these here. And then 2021, I launched A Walk Through the Valley. It's a huge book. And it was a tribute to our seniors, because in the Virgin Islands, I'm sure you all know, we talk the talk, but we don't walk the walk. We tell stories, gripping stories, interesting stories of what happened in the days gone by, but we do not have much in the form of literature. And I wanted to make a difference. I have a passion about our islands, and I wanted to document the stories, or I should even say I wanted to document all seniors for posterity, for persons who want to explore their family trees. So this book is all about persons 90 years and over.
Wow.
And I have, for instance, the oldest person in this book was 120 years.
Wow.
Yeah, his name was Samuel Patmilan, and he lived at Kingstown, that settlement.
Yes.
African settlement, yeah. And then I went a bit further, and I did a history, family history, presented it to my siblings and my offspring. And I have a sequel to A Walk Through the Valley. It's called And the Journey Continues, and that's going to be ready and released in early 2024, and I also did a children's book. So
wonderful.
Reading, writing, my passion, and I did as in past that I don't read and write.
Amazing. Now you mentioned that you've been writing essentially since creation, but you have a passion for documenting Virgin Islands history and heritage. What are you most proud of as a Virgin Islander?
I am proud of where we have come to from where we were. It's been a hard struggle. When you think back, I was born, grew up, call it the 50s, the 60s, and from where we were then and where we are now, we have grown by leaps and bounds, and we should be exceptionally proud of what we have done, and we should not give up, but just keep pressing on to higher heights. And
amazing. And to the younger generation, I'll ask you both ladies this, to the younger generation of authors who are looking on, many of them, believe it or not, want to write, but they're a bit apprehensive because, truth be told, when you write your work, it's a very vulnerable space, and you're essentially sharing your gifts with the world. What would you each say to up-and-coming local authors who are aspiring of being in your shoes one day?
Well, it's interesting that you asked that. When I was launching my book last year, a young lady reached out to me. She's like, Miss Leonard, I'm so inspired by you, you know. I always wanted to write. What suggestions do you have for me? And I told her just that. Yeah, because, you know, you have a passion, you have an idea. Like my daughter, she loves poetry. And she had so many, and I think she lost some along the way. But I have been encouraging her, and I remember very clearly since she was 17, and she's now ready to do that.
Good.
Right. So I would like to say to anyone, young or old, but to our younger generation, whether it's fiction or anything that's on your heart, you know, just go for it. Just start writing. Yeah, because that's what I did. I just started writing, and I had a goal of 800 words a day, and soon enough I was 40,000 words.
Wow.
So, you know, every journey begins with the first step.
Indeed.
Yes. You just have to start.
And Miss Flax?
I was going to say basically the same thing. The journey of 1,000 miles, it begins with the first single step. And you just have to keep pressing on. As Don said, you know, some people, they don't know where to start. Put the first word down and just go from there. You can always go back and, you know, remodel it, rephrase it. And what I'd like to say also is that you don't give up. Whatever, you can write about a series of things, subjects. You just keep at it and don't look at it as a money-making venture. Especially persons like myself and these other ladies. It's a passion that we have. And you try documenting our history or whatever you would like to write about. And you know that it's a contribution you're making. It's a legacy you're leaving for others coming behind you. So keep at it. And we and others are always there to encourage and uplift as needed.
Well said. And with that said, thank you for sharing and leaving a legacy. Thank you both.
Thank you for having us, Sean.
You're most welcome. Viewers, of course, we are continuing on. We have 2 more authors, and you're going to meet them right after a commercial break. We'll be right back.
At Higher BVI, we're not just about business. We're about empowering lives, and that is because we aspire to inspire. By choosing us, you're supporting a company that believes in equal opportunities, diversity, and community growth. Our mission goes beyond profit. It's about providing HR solutions, fostering talent, and leaving a positive impact. Join us in building a better future, a better BVI. Choose Higher BVI, where your support isn't just a transaction, it's a transformation. Together, we're changing lives in these beautiful Virgin Islands.
Catch all the action from the 2023 NFL games with CCT Live on various channels, including ESPN Channel 412, ESPN2 Channel 413, Telemundo Channel 315, and Fox Channel 304. When you subscribe to any CCT Fire plan, you'll automatically bundle CCT Live. For more information, visit your nearest CCT store or give us a call at 444-4444. Choose CCT Live and enhance your game day experience.
This November, the sun rises on the northernmost island of the Virgin Islands and shines over an unforgettable 3-day experience. The Caribbean's most anticipated food festival, the Anegada Lobster Festival. The 24th to the 26th of November, the island's best restaurants present their best lobster dishes and other delicacies while you and 3,000 of your closest friends soak up the sun. Enjoy music from top bands, seaside activities, and win awesome prizes. There's nothing quite like the Anegada Lobster Festival. The 24th to the 26th of November. Book a room or catch a boat and be there. You'll see, it's the taste and fun you need.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for sticking with us. As promised, we are joined by the final two local authors out of the Virgin Islands who are on the Janice Nibbs and Meet Local Authors Extravaganza, the lovely Mrs. Janice George Harris, alongside the lovely Dr. Allison Flax Archer. Ladies, it's always a pleasure. Welcome back to the studios.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you.
Now, as mentioned, you each have varying pieces of work. Of course, Mrs. Harris, I'm going to begin with you. Tell us about Little Hill Stories.
Well, Ron, Little Hill Stories chronicles my dad's story as a young boy growing up in North Sound, Virgin Gorda, specifically at Little Hill in North Sound. It tells about the fun things that he and his siblings did during the 1950s. It is written in an engaging way so that anyone from any age can enjoy the stories and relive the 1950s with my dad.
Wonderful. And Dr. Archer, you have found a very creative way of preserving Virgin Islands history and heritage. Because we spend so much time with each other, we get to participate in the box. So tell us about, we have two boxes in front of us, which I'm excited about.
Yes.
Tell us about the first one.
Well, Ron, first of all, thank you so much for having me once again. The first box, which I believe I actually came on the show and spoke about the first box, and box 2 is actually quite similar. It's a glimpse into Virgin Islands history. Okay. So it's a history box of cards, which it's a mixed box set, which essentially highlights Virgin Islands history. It's from politics to just local folklore and just fun facts about the Virgin Islands.
Wonderful. And what I love about it, of course, is it's an engaging way for us to spend time together. So at holidays or just get-togethers, we get to learn while interacting. Mrs. Harris, I'm going to ask you to share an excerpt from your piece of work, if you'd be so kind.
Sure. Okay, so let's go. I think I'm going to share. I think that the students like this one. Is chapter 3. It's called Sunday's Sin.
Okay.
And I will start on page 33. We had taken off our clothes and underwear to go swimming. We didn't even have a strip of cloth to cover ourselves. Some of the older boys picked the largest grape leaf they could find to cover their nakedness, while others used their hands. The only way home was the narrow dirt road that ran past the open windows of the church. This situation was particularly embarrassing for one of the older boys because he had seen the girl he liked seated near a window. He could not let her see him like this. He either had to stay in the sea until after the service or find another way to get home. My brothers and I did not have the option to remain until after the congregants had gone to their homes. Our mother had sent us to church and expected us back home when it was finished.
Sunday Sin. That's a good one.
Sunday Sin.
Wonderful. And Dr. Archer, I'm interested to see what's in those boxes. So share one of them with us.
Okay, so I'm going to share, but you have to actually play it.
Oh boy.
Me. So let's see. Okay, no, this is actually quite a good one. It's one that's coming up, so you have to get the answer.
Okay.
Which holiday replaced St. Ursula's Day in 2021? It's coming up.
That's Heroes and Forefathers?
You have it. Heroes and Foreparents Day. That's
Good.
right.
Good.
And there's a did you know fact. Did you know? Heroes and Forefathers or Foreparents Day replaced St. Ursula's Day with the intention of recognizing Virgin Islanders who have made significant contributions in the islands. Heroes and Foreparents Day is celebrated annually in October, and that's actually coming up.
Amazing.
On the 16th.
So ladies, I have to ask you about your journey. Mrs. Harris, what was your journey in putting this piece of work together?
Well, it has been a number of years listening to my dad share his stories. And so during the COVID period, when I did have some downtime, I had the opportunity to take them from here and place them here. And so, of course, it meant that I had to do a little bit more research to get a little bit more details than what my dad had given me. And so I reached out to other people like my aunt and found out about places that we no longer know about, like the Hill wells that have been covered over.
Okay.
But because she knew of it, because she would go and wash there, she was able to tell me. So there's some little historic nuggets that are in the book, and that's because of the little research I was able to do to uncover that.
Now you both are former educators, and once an educator, always an educator.
Yes.
When you reflect on the pieces of work that you have been able to put together, what do you hope that it does for the next generation?
I believe that the work that we have both put together, and I'll speak for myself, is generational. So history can never be lost. You talk about the well, that's never going to be lost. So as it relates to our history and our culture, yes, things are evolving, but where we came from never changes. It never changes. So I believe that the learning that will take place from box 1 through to 10, actually there's going to be more than 10,
wow.
But that's a story in itself, is something that we need to keep and preserve.
Wonderful. And Mrs. Harris?
Yes, I echo her sentiments, because with this work, you know, it's cultural. It is who we are as a Virgin Islands people, and it also captures our history. And apart from the culture, the rich culture that we find in here, and the history, it's also a good book for literature, for studying within the classroom, for doing your comprehension. Why? Because students can connect with the people, they can connect with the place, and that is essential if we want to encourage our youngsters to read. Quite often we get them to read things that are outside their cultural scope, but here is a book that they can really connect with. And I'm looking forward to them connecting with it.
Wonderful. Well, I want to take this time to congratulate both of you on a very, very unique and amazing, really chronicling the journey of us here in the Virgin Islands in different ways. So I'm excited. Dr. Archer, I know box 1 is launched and we have box 2 sample. I'm not going to put you on the spot, but let's just say we're looking forward to getting some nuggets out of book 2. So whenever you have the opportunity, you're both very welcome to come back and highlight us on your recent works.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Viewers, you heard it here, of course. We are 284 Media out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands, presenting to you the Janice Nibbs and Meet Local Authors Extravaganza. Today you heard from Andrea Flax, Don Leonard, Janice Nibbs, Miss Janice George Harris, and Dr. Allison Flax Archer. Of course, you want to get your hands on some of these amazing pieces of work, and they're available in the Virgin Islands. I'm Ron Grant. You're watching 284 Media. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye-bye.